The company you keep in this business is going to have a lot to do with your success. It's important to keep the right company. Once again, I'm over here in New Albany, Mississippi. It gets sunny, and then it rains, and then it gets sunny, and then it rains. Kind of looks like there's been some kind of almost a hurricane to the south of me. It's been a little intense today, but the weather's having an identity crisis. This is one thing I haven't talked a whole lot about, but I've been meaning to. I just didn't really know how to put it properly. But you know, I do listen to a lot of entrepreneurs, and I am interested in growing and maintaining my business. And I've come to understand that the people you associate with in your personal life and your business relationships have a lot to do with the kind of success that you're going to have out here. It's a whole lot more serious than you think. And in this business, you're going to meet a lot of people. Now, in the past, probably 10 or 12 years, you know, in 2004, January 1st, they changed the hours of service. And then from there, they have been changing things and changing things and changing things. And I've talked about this before, that everything you knew before that date, because I remember that night that happened, I called a buddy of mine on the phone. I was going through Iowa, and I said, you know, the part that scares me about this is that, well, one, they created a driver shortage and a parking shortage overnight, but two, I told my buddy, I said, you know, they're not going to quit screwing with this for the next 20 years. And so far, it's just right at almost 20. But I heard a wise man say one time that if you hang out with 5 rich guys, you're going to be the 6th. And if you hang out with 5 broke guys, you're going to be the 6th. So what does that mean? Well, bluntly put, you are the sum of the company that you keep. Now, you're going to meet a lot of people out here, and you're going to make a lot of friends, and you're going to have a lot of acquaintances. It's important to know right off the bat which one this person needs to be. One thing you're going to find in short order is that there's a lot of wisdom out here. You know, and most of the old timers, they just kind of gave up, and you just kind of have to pry it out of them. But for the amount of wisdom out here, there is 6 times the amount of BS. And as a driver, you have to learn how to sift through all of it. And it gets a little sticky from time to time. So you have to surround yourself with people that are going to not only, I'm not talking about being positive and all that positivity and all that, you know, that's not what we're talking about here. It's talking about the kind of tools and the information you need to grow your business, to make smart decisions. What do you need to do, and who do you need to surround yourself with to grow your business? Now, believe it or not, social media is a good place to start. Now, I'll be the first to tell you, the majority of the crap you see out here is just that. It's crap. And when you read it on social media, it's just a lot of bitching and moaning and whining and crying. But there's a few little nuggets that go through there. And if you have an idea what you're looking for, you can really pull those nuggets out. So how do you find those nuggets? Well, it comes with being familiar and being grounded with what you're doing. You know, not basing this on how you feel about this or that, but do have the cold hard facts of what's going on in your business. Now, I'm going to give you the benefit of my failures. I didn't have the cold hard facts when I started driving truck. Nobody really does. We think we do. I got all the numbers from the company. I did all the math. I crunched numbers until they were powder. And every number I was given was 100% wrong. even to the amount of debt that I faced, because they lied to me about that too. I'm not going to say they lied to me. I believe they willfully omitted a lot of things. But you have to have an idea, so you get yourself educated. Now, you can't just get one source and be like, well, I read this here. So if you read 10 sources and they say one thing, and you read 10 sources and they say 8 things, which one's right? It's up to you to figure that out. Because, you know, why are these sources, these 10 saying this, and why are these 10 saying that? So you have to dig a little bit deeper into the data. It's not as hard as you think. Just like looking at reviews online. If you start looking at reviews online, you're going to figure out very quickly what's a review and what's somebody complaining. But if you start going through all the reviews, you're going to start seeing commonalities between this, and this from people who don't even know each other. If they say this and they don't know each other, but you start seeing familiar themes and familiar phrases and familiar commonalities, that can be a red flag or a green flag. That's how you start finding information. You have to do your research. So, in the trucking, how do you do your research? Well, like I said, social media is a great place to start. Reviews are a great place to start. But then you also have to learn to, well, I'm not going to say you have to trust people, but you have to take people at face value from time to time and figure out if they're being truthful, if they're being honest, or are they just full of crap. I'm sitting here and realized I forgot to do something. I forgot to unhook my trailer from the door. They're kind of sticklers about that here. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to need friends in this business. You're going to need to know people. And at my last job, when it came to knowing people, that ended up being actually very important. Not only did I know people, it was important that I knew the right people. Now, I'm not talking about making friends. I'll tell you that in a minute. I've told you about the last job. It was when I realized how badly we were getting screwed pay-wise and all the way across the board. It was shocking. But how did I know that? Well, I knew that because I knew the right people. And the conversation I had during my exit interview with the one of the way too many vice presidents was very disturbing. But since I was leaving, I didn't care, so I told them exactly what was going on. No, I've told you that I've been responsible for a lot of policy changes at my last job. But I started learning, the reason I knew we were getting screwed was because I did my homework. But what a lot of the people didn't realize is that you can know the same people they know. This isn't an exclusive industry. You know, you can check out load boards. You can't get into a lot of them, but if you know people, they can, you know, and that's in this business. I know a lot of guys who can access load boards. You find out what things actually pay. And then you can really start understanding, you know, what's going on in your business. Now, trust me when I tell you this, I don't know everything. There's a lot of things I don't know just because it's none of my business. But understanding what you're doing in this business is paramount, because you have to have a grasp. You don't have to know 100% of everything, but you have to have a grasp on a good chunk of it and understand how the machine works in order to make educated decisions. And I had to explain this to one of our way too many vice presidents at the last job when I said, you need to understand that you know people. I said, yes. You know a lot of people in the industry? He said, yes. I said, you need to understand that I know a lot of people too. In fact, I probably know a lot of the same people. And I said, I know what these loads pay. I said, I also know what the fuel surcharges are. I know where you get these loads. I said, I know where they're going. I said, I know a hell of a lot more than you realize I do, because I do my homework and this is my business. He didn't like that. But in telling him that, the jig was up. And I was on my way out the door anyways, and there was pretty much a mass exodus of us. And mostly all of the owner-operators, because we were getting screwed. In fact, You actually could have said there was a mutiny, because almost every owner-operator at that point left. I think 7 of us went with the first wave, and a couple weeks later there was 5 more. I mean, we just all left. But sometimes that's what you have to do when you realize that things just are not going the way you were told they should. Now you're going to be dealing with a lot of storytellers and a lot of good old boys and a lot of things like that, and most of the time a lot of these guys, and you'll figure out who they are. Their stories are not their own. They're just taking a story they heard and making it their own, or loosely adapting it to something mediocre in their lives. And you need to figure out who those people are. I mean, a lot of times they're useful to have around for a laugh, but I would not be taking business advice from these people. The way you take business advice from people is you start learning, you start watching how they're doing their business, and then you have to more or less start picking and choosing the nuggets out of there that work for you. You know, you're going to have a lot of advice. Some of it works, some of it does not. But the important thing is to figure out what advice works for you. You don't have to take everything as gospel, but these people will tell you it is. So you have to kind of guard yourself against things of that nature. Take everything with a grain of salt. Now, the one thing that gets people in the most trouble is this little tidbit here. You are the sum of the company that you keep. If you hang out with good people and have good friends, make informed decisions, are decent with people and all that, they're going to notice that. Likewise, if you hang out with the riffraff and you're always a little late, or you're always running in packs and this, that, and the other thing, they will also know that. Now, dispatchers are not stupid people. They act stupid, but sometimes I believe that's by design. They are there, you know, you need to use them to make money. You can be friendly with them, but are they your friends? More often than not, no, they are not. So you have to figure out, how does this relationship, how can I use this relationship to make me money? There's nothing wrong with that, because that's why they're there. But if you have a bad reputation due to the company that you keep, you know, that's going to affect you, because they're going to be like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he hangs out with these guys, and you know, he's kind of starting to pick up some bad habits. And you will. So you need to be very careful about who you associate with, especially on the company dime. One of the things that was always fun yet was completely counterproductive was running in groups. Love hanging out with my friends. Love getting 4 or 5 of us together and trucking all night across the desert or something like that. Used to have a heck of a lot of fun, you know, doing all night runs. We used to, like I said, we used to do the midnight runs out of Milwaukee, and, you know, running midnight runs out to California and back, and, you know, out to New York and whatnot. You know, had a lot of fun back in the day. But truthfully, unless it's a drop and hook, running in packs is actually counterproductive, because the last guy loaded is, you know, you're all waiting for him. So if you're the first guy loaded and there's 3 of you and you're waiting for the last guy to get loaded, how long are you sitting? We're not on paper logs anymore. You got to go. And I found that running in packs can be incredibly counterproductive. Now, if you got the extra time and you want to hang out with some buddies, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, but your pack is only going to be as fast as the slowest guy there. So you need to remember that. But, you know, it can be fun. But just be mindful of that. Now, here's the thing. Hanging out with good, positive people can be very beneficial to you. Not just now, but down the road. Like I said, you are the sum of the company you keep. And your reputation in this business is everything. You have to have a good reputation, not only with the customers here, but your dispatch, the owner of the company, and all that. You know, one of the best compliments you can have is when nobody knows who you are. You can be there 5-6 years, do an exceptional job, and if your name never comes up for anything, chances are nobody's ever going to notice you. You're going to make some money, you're not going to get hassled, and you know, you're going to have a good time, and you're going to make some money. So when you associate with good people and you guys can use each other to each of your guys' benefit, not as friends, but as business associates. You know, friendship out here on the road can be a little tricky at times, because a lot of guys will act as friends like they do in any job, but they're trying to get something strictly for themselves. This isn't mutual. This is, what can I get from me? And eventually some of these guys will just bend you over when they can. And then when you call them out on it, they just laugh. Well, I didn't know. Yeah, you knew. These people will become apparent very quickly. I recommend keeping an arm's length from them until you absolutely need them, or, you know what I mean, just deal with them in the strictest business sense. But there are a lot of people out there in this business that you can get a little more personal with that will benefit anything that you're doing. If you come down to a lot of these customers like I do, like this is like the third or fourth time I've been down here in the last 2.5 weeks for some reason. Just kind of the way it happened. People know me down here. I've been coming here quite a bit over the last 6-7 years. But also, it's not just the customers. The people at the truck stop know me. And a lot of times when people get to know you, you know, you start making friends at the truck stops. You start, you know, getting to know people. And you can have benefits of that. That has its own benefits and that has its own rewards. I'm not saying anything selfish or anything like that, but I mean, you meet some nice people, you have some contacts, you know, and you start learning the local community and you start finding out where there's things to do. I mean, getting to know people and making friends out here is a good deal. But like I said, make the right kind of friends. Well, it's been a couple days and I was trying to figure out how to end this video, and it's storming outside. Back up here in South Dakota. Basically, we live in a tough world and it's tough to make money out here. This is real life. You know, what you see on Facebook and YouTube and all these trucking pages, you're seeing the A-sides of the album. For an old boomer reference here. You're seeing the A-sides. You're not seeing the B-sides. You're not seeing the struggle. You're not seeing the failures. You're not seeing all of that. There's going to be a lot of that starting out. And the people that you align yourself with are going to be crucial to whether you succeed in this business or whether you fail. You have to align yourself with the right people. You know, it's that way with any business. You know, you got to be around the right people. And I've said it before, you know, you may not be at the right company the first time out, or maybe even the second time. But if you have a good idea and you're striving towards the finish line and you know what you want, you're going to get there. But you have to put in the work and you have to know what you want and you have to know how to read people. And the friends you keep are going to really help you along the way, because good people are going to mentor you. They're going to give you solid advice, and they're going to, you know, be real assets. And at the end of the day, they're going to be friends. So just keep that in mind. So I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next video. It's starting to hail on me now. Oh, good night. I can't have anything nice. That's all hail. I guess I'm staying in. See you next video.